Mamoswine over farming, firing off the first avalanche Excadrill. Still as a shield, they commit it, but guess what? Excadrill, there's plenty more of where that comes from. This avalanche is going to knock out, we don't know. What's in the back? Oh, hello, Togekiss. Avalanche free, coming right up, but is avalanche going to be enough to knock out? Well, you're going to have to watch the video to find out. So today we have an absolute treat for you. All those that have been members of the channel for a while will know we don't feature Open Master League very often. Firstly, because I don't personally have an Open Master League team. And secondly, because triple shadows are insanely difficult and insanely expensive to run at level 50. But don't worry, my boy XBoston has got us covered. He is actually planning to be the third documented trainer in the world to reach legend, only using shadow Pokemon. So without any further ado, let's jump into his battles. And in game 1, we pick up a fantastic lead. Metagross into Dialga, the opponent's safe switches into Melmetal. Pretty questionable as this tin can needs to debuff themselves with superpowers to any meaningful damage. The opponent goes straight for it. Boston builds up to the Earthquake, returns fire with the Meteor Mash, and the opponent obviously crapping their pants at the sight of Metagross. Shield it up, we now send in Ursaluna. The opponent again needs to debuff themselves. Boston calls the bait, you love to see it. The opponent is going to fire off one more charge move, and Boston thinks this is a superpower, and my god, he is winning the battle of the masturbators. This super spammy tin can is already at another charge move. This is a triple debuffed superpower. Ursaluna shrugs it off and returns fire with the fire punch, but the opponent makes an absolute savage catch, catching it on the Dragonite. Boston's Ursaluna is running Fire Punch and high horsepower, so they might have made a catch, but we're going to throw Fire Punch anyway. We now see our switch timer pop up. Boston switches out into Mamo. We are going to shield a potential superpower commit to the Powder Snow farm down. The opponent again threw a bait, but we don't really care as they don't make another charge move, and now Mamoswine has residual energy. Good to go. The opponent sends back out Melmetal. They shield up the avalanche, obviously not wanting this loaded Mamoswine on the Dialga. They are now going to fire off the superpower. Superpower vanquishes Mamoswine back to its Pokeball. The opponent did debuff themselves. They now pivot out into Dialga, and Dialga is about to get nuked. We have got the Earthquake good to go. Boston goes for a very nice undercharge, commits to the Bullet Punch farm down. Metagross is going to get outpaced, so Boston attempts to catch. We don't catch, but the opponent does fire off energy anyway. Fearful of the Fire Punch resisted Rock Slide, takes us out, but back out comes Metagross. We make the resisted Meteor Mash, and that is going to be all she wrote. GG's, and thanks for playing. And we're off to a 1-0 start heading into battle. Number 2, we lead Metagross into Dragonite. A pretty decent lead, not as good as it used to be, as now Dragonite has that superpower coverage. The opponent pivots out into their own Metagross, and we don't really have a response. So Boston is staying in. He fires off the Meteor Mash bait and now looks to catch the charge move on his Ursaluna. The opponent was also masturbating Ursaluna. Tanks the Meteor Mash. These tackles are resisted, but both high horsepower and Fire Punch will be hitting for super effective, as the opponent did shield earlier. We can now shield it up. Boston is going to overfarm, go for the Fire Punch. Fire Punch doesn't get stabbed. It doesn't quite knock out. Can we tackle? Farm down. The answer is I don't know, as the opponent pivots back out into their Dragonite, and Dragonite is going to eat the Fire Punch. Although the opponent did make a fantastic catch, they have now switch locked the Dragonite. Boston sends back out Metagross, and these bullet punches are ripping through them. The opponent is going to fire a charge move, and Boston calls that it is just a Dragon Claw. Great no shield. We need to fire a charge move because the opponent is going to get to the next Dragon Claw. Boston over farms. It looks like he is going to shield up, get to 100 energy. This Meteor Mash is going to vanquish Dragonite back to its Pokeball, and we have a Meteor Mash good to go for whatever is in the back. It's a steel ground type. It must be Excadrill. Excadrill isn't going to appreciate the Meteor Mash. It will do 50% of the HP. They commit a shield, and Boston sends in his big mammoth to clean up. Mamoswine can tank a charge move. The opponent goes for a rock slide. That is not the correct play, as ground does resist rock. Ice does take super effective, so it's only neutral, so the opponent should have went for the stab drill run, but either way we fire off the avalanche. That vanquishes Excadrill back to its Pokeball. Metagross does make a charge move. This is going to take care of the mammoth, but our Metagross has more HP, and we bullet punch farm down for another dub. GG's. Moving on to the next battle, we see Mewtwo in the lead. Most Mewtwo's do run double legacy, side strike and shadow ball at 7 psycho cuts to the shadow ball, so Boston throws 7 bullet punches, looks to catch the double resisted shadow ball on his Ursaluna. Stay in school, kids, learn to count, as that was absolutely savage. The opponent now sends out Kyogre, which does hit our ground type in for super effective, but we have that high horsepower coverage. High horsepower draws a shield from the Kyogre and the opponent commits to the waterfall farm down. Kyogre is a huge core breaker for this team, as water does resist steel and hits both our ground types for super effective. Boston sends back out his Metagross, throws 1 bullet punch and the meteor mash. That is the correct fast move timing, as waterfall is a 3-turn move and bullet punch is a 2-turn move, so you want to throw out 1, 4 or 7. We tank the surf, commit to the bullet punch, farm down, back out comes the Mewtwo. We've still got 2 shields. We are going to commit a shield on the side strike and the opponent sends out Dialga. We've got the earthquake locked and loaded. No baits. Does the opponent respect the damage? Yes, they do. And now this beautiful Hundo level 51 Mammoth is primed to sweep this game. We can easily shield up the Iron Head. It looks like Boston is going to farm up to the back-to-back avalanches. Avalanche is neutral, but my god, does it hit like a truck. It is a side strike clone that vanquishes Dialga. Back to its Pokeball, back out comes Mewtwo, and they can eat an avalanche as well. GG's and thanks for playing. Holy smokes, when shields are down, Shadow Mamoswine goes to town. Moving on to the next battle, we see Palkia in the lead. Water types are really problematic for this team, so let's see how Boston plays his way out of this one. The opponent is going to strike first and Boston is going to shield up the Aqua Tail. We throw 1 bullet punch and the Meteor Mash bait. That's great fast move timing once again from Boston. Meteor Mash is resisted, but you can see even the resisted bullet punches are chipping the health of Palkia. The opponent hasn't fired again, so Boston fires off 1 more Meteor Mash. The opponent is now all shields down and Boston looks pretty happy with that situation. He allows his Metagross to go down, saving a shield for his ground types. In the back, we are going to send out the Mammoth. Mammoth isn't going to appreciate these Aqua Tails whatsoever. We do commit a shield on the Aqua Tail. It's now all shields down. Boston is going to fire off the Avalanche as soon as he gets it. This will be taken care of Palkia. What does the opponent have in the back lurking? The opponent takes an absolute eternity to pick a Pokemon, and clearly we know why. They send out Togekiss. Togekiss is weak to Ice. Avalanche one-shots Togekiss, and the opponent has Lugia in the back. Mamoswine absolutely going off. We make 1 more Avalanche. This is going to do massive damage to one of the bulkiest Pokemon in the league. Lugia does manage to Dragon Tail farm us all the way down. They reach an Aero Blast. Can Ursaluna tank the Aero Blast? Yes, we can. We are getting low on HP, but Ursaluna makes the Fire Punch. Fire Punch, not the best move, but it's still enough to take that game. Moving on to the next one. We see everyone's favourite Tinkan Melmetal in the lead. A great matchup for Metagross, as most Melmetals run Rock Slide and Superpower, so the opponent is going to have to debuff themselves. To do any meaningful damage, the opponent fires the Superpower dip into Dragonite, and Boston has the perfect response. We've got Mamoswine. Ice hits Dragonite for double super effective. We shield up the potential Superpower, and it is a Superpower. Boston now commits to the Powder Snow farm down. Back out comes Melmetal. Melmetal would be getting one shot by high horsepower, so Boston is going for the sneaky bait and the opponent obliges. With a shield, Boston is just going to fire off 1 more Avalanche. Avalanche is resist, doesn't do too much damage, but it is a delayed CMP. Holy crap, a huge misplay from the opponent. It looks like they were spamming out the charge move. They do commit to the Thundershock farm down. However, Boston is in the driver's seat in this battle. He sends back out his loaded Metagross. He is going to commit a shield on the potential Superpower, and the opponent again superpowers and dips, and the opponent's final Pokemon is Excadrill. Once again we go for the bait, and the opponent is getting baited left, right and centre. Stay in school, kids, learn to count. Boston now makes a great sack, catching the drill run on his Ursaluna. It looks like Ursaluna can tank 2 charge moves, so this drill run isn't going to knock out. We are going to outpace to the Fire Punch, but is Fire Punch going to be lethal? Excadrill, pretty glassy. We aren't getting stabbed. Is Fire Punch enough? Yes, it is. Back out comes the Melmetal. Can they commit to the Thundershock farm down? No, they cannot. They are forced to dump energy. This Rock Slide will be taken care of Ursaluna. We have the Meteor Mash locked and loaded, even resisted. This is still going to be enough to take this game. GG's, and thanks for playing. It looks like counter is a myth in the Open Master League as the opponent was running ABA Steel. Moving on to the next battle, Nightmare lead metagross into Excadrill. Drill Run will be doing huge damage, but Boston's countering is immaculate. Once again, he catches the Drill Run on his Ursaluna, and the opponent now pivots out into Gyarados. Gyarados will be fearful of the Thunder Punch. We haven't got it, but does the opponent commit a shield? Yes, they do. Boston has successfully drawn out the water type. However, we haven't really got a great way of dealing with this loaded Gyarados. We send back out the Metagross. Metagross isn't going to appreciate the crunch whatsoever. Boston tanks the crunch on the chin. We get the defense drop. We are in absolute dire straits. Boston fires off the resisted Meteor Mash. It does huge damage. He now looks to snipe with Mamoswine. It's two shielded Mamoswine versus the world. If the opponent sends back out the Excadrill, which they do, this does tell me that they must be weak to ice. In the back, Boston still has two shields. He can easily shield up. Whatever they throw, they go for the Rock Slide. Not the correct play, but it is what it is. We are going to fire off the Avalanche. Avalanche is going to get a shield. Excadrill is going to get outpaced to the second Avalanche, and this is going to be Night. Sleep type Excadrill. What is that final Pokemon? Oh, hello, Togekiss. Togekiss about to wish it was back in its Pokeball, but Mamoswine is going to help with that matter. Hi Togekiss, bye Togekiss. GG's, and thanks for playing. Speaking of everyone's favourite fluffy cloud, Togekiss, we pick up a great lead Metagross into Togekiss. However, the save switch of Kyogre is a huge problem. Boston is looking to stay in. We are going to shield up the Surf. Return fire with the Meteor Mash. Meteor Mash is resisted, but Kyogre does oblige with a shield. The opponent is obviously recognising we are weak to the big fat blue whale. We are going to make one more Meteor Mash. Let's see how much damage this does. It does a nice bit of chip damage. However, which isn't so nice is that the opponent is going to waterfall farm us all the way down. And now we are in a really tricky spot. Boston comes in with his Ursaluna. I imagine we are going to tank the Surf commit to the tackle farm down. Holy smokes, we don't tank that particularly well, and we can't even farm down as Kyogre is already at the second Surf. Surely we can't win this game. Can we resist it? Powder Snow farm him down? Yes, we can, but Mamoswine is already down to 60% HP. The opponent sends out the Excadrill. Boston is firing off the Avalanche. If the opponent shields, we might have a chance. The opponent does shield. We are going to have to shield up. Whatever Excadrill throws, this opponent again goes for a Rock Slide. Interesting. Boston looking to overfarm. We fire off the Avalanche. Is Avalanche enough to one-shot Excadrill from this health? Yes, it is. Back out comes the Togekiss, and somehow Boston pulls off a very unlikely victory. Mamoswine absolutely going off. You love to see it. GG's, and thanks for playing. Moving on to the next battle, we see Dialga in the lead. Dragon Breath is resisted. However, Dialga does resist the Bullet Punch. It takes 22 turns to the Draco, so we fire 10 Bullet Punches, fire off the Meteor Mash bait. The opponent does commit a shield. This is now enough for a Draco. Boston looking to call the bait, and holy smokes, what an absolutely awesome call. Can we make the Earthquake? Yes, we can. Is the opponent willing to go down two shields in the early game? Yes, they are. They are now going to commit to the Dragon Breath farm down. However, we have two shields and a Mamoswine. In comes Mamo. We are obviously going to have to shield up the super effective Iron Heads. However, can we outpace the Dialga before it reaches the second? No, we cannot. So Boston is going to be forced to double shield in return. We can now overfarm massively. The opponent sends out Dragonite. Holy smokes, Dragonite being sacrificed to the Pokegods. Double super effective. That would probably kill an entire flock of Dragonites. I don't know if dragons fly in flocks, but you get what I'm saying. Back out comes Dialga. Dialga gets taken out as well, and it's Giratina in the back. Mamoswine, holy smokes. Avalanche hits for super effective, and Giratina gets near one shot. Can we Powder Snow farm down? Yes, we can, and Mamo goes on an absolute rampage. Boston, what are you doing to me? My voice going very high pitched there. I really wasn't ready for that Mamo sweep. Moving on to the next battle, we see Zacian in the lead. The opponent looking to throw the close combat and dip out into Dragonite. Boston super quick on his response to the Mammoth. These double super effective powder snows ripping through Dragonite. The opponent commits a shield, looking to fight for switch. If we correctly shield up a super power, we'll be able to powder snow farm them. All the way down, we get baited with a Dragon Claw, so Dragonite is going to make one more Dragon Claw, and it looks like this will be enough to knock out, so we have a tough decision to make. Boston commits the final shield, does commit to the powder snow farm down. Out comes Melmetal. Is Melmetal willing to respect the high horsepower? No, they're not. They near get one shot. The Melmetal needs to throw a charge move because they can't fund the shot. Farm us down. Boston makes a savage catch, catching the rock slide on his Ursaluna. He then commits to the tackle farm down, and this game is absolutely over. Boston playing with his food. Zacian trying to fight it out, but they are going to have to commit a shield on the Fire Punch. We've got 2 charge moves loaded on our other Pokemon. The opponent can take us out with a close combat, but they are pretty much fucked. Boston waiting out his time. He comes in with the Mammoth because why not? This is a Mamoswine feature. After all, Avalanche is enough to take this game, and Mamo cleans up another victory. You love to see it. Holy smokes, Boston. I was not ready for the action there from Mamoswine. I've always wanted to try one out in the Open Master League. Unfortunately, I don't have a good IV whatsoever, but I'm hugely grateful for seeing how good it is, so I will continue the grind and go hunt them swinub grunts. So as I said previously, Boston is looking to make legend this season, only using Shadow Pokemon. I believe only myself and Lemon Lime have completed that feat so far, so post down below wishing him good luck, not that he needs it, as always he's been to school and his counting is top notch. So if you're enjoying the content, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing. If you like your battles featured on the channel, link to my battle submission form is down below. I'd just like to say thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next one.